Today, we're going to talk about bullet journaling with intention, how to set goals, take action, and get real results with a planning system specifically designed for you. Now, if you don't currently do bullet journaling or know what it is, or you're new to it, that's something we're going to kind of go over in a quick overview in just a minute, but you're still going to get a ton out of this class because you can apply what we're about to learn to any planning system you use. I just happen to love bullet journaling because it's so customizable to each individual, which is why one of the first things we're going to learn is why bullet journaling is the only planning tool capable of supporting a personalized goal-crushing system. My opinion, and a lot of people share this opinion too, I believe bullet journaling trumps every other planner in the market. And I hope by the end of this class, you are going to fall in love with bullet journaling just as much as I have. We're also going to talk about how to set strategic goals that are both actionable and achievable. We need to get extremely specific if we're going to measure our progress and get those results that we want. And that leads me into the number one mistake people make that derails their progress and what you can do differently. When we set goals, there's just one more step that people often forget, and after this class, you are going to remember to do this always. Lastly, we are going to end with a simple way to move forward if you hit a roadblock or if you lose momentum, because what I found is there's no perfect path to achieve your goals, and you will find yourself fighting against time, against distractions or your energy levels, and basically just not wanting to do what you had planned to do. And that's life, that's normal. But I'm going to give you one very specific tip to keep you going and move forward. I want to talk about bullet journaling just for a minute before we get into the goal setting material. If you're not familiar with this method yet, in its most simplistic form, it is an all-in-one planner, calendar, and task management system inside a blank notebook. So this is not a normal retail pre-designed planner where you ultimately have to squeeze your schedule and how your brain works into a product that someone else created for you. You get to create and customize your own system, and it supports everything you do on a monthly, weekly, and daily basis because you get to be the designer. To keep things organized in your bullet journal, you number every single page in your notebook, and some notebooks actually come with pre-numbered pages to make it super easy to do this. But basically, you are going to create what is called an index, and this is like a table of contents for your journal, so no matter what you write inside, you can record the content on the page along with the corresponding page number so you can easily reference anything you need. So what do you put inside a bullet journal? There are four major categories that I want to go over with you. First are regular planning pages. You can set up an entire month in your journal just like a regular planner, but one thing that I like is there's extra space where you can add like the extra stuff that you want to keep track of. For instance, I like to keep track of projects that I'm working on throughout the month. I like to keep track of the books I want to read and be intentional about that. For my business, I keep track of income goals, and then I always like to have kind of like a running list of things that I need to be thinking of for next month. But it's not just limited to calendar planning pages. You can do weekly planning pages, which I'll show you later in the class, one of mine. You can also do daily planning pages, so you can dedicate an entire page or half a page or however much space you need, which is one of the things I just love about bullet journaling as opposed to a typical planner. Lists are one of my favorite parts of bullet journaling because I used to have sticky notes everywhere and multiple notebooks filled with random information, and nothing was really that organized, even though I tried to be organized. But basically, I could not reference or find a way to reference things that I needed when I needed it. So in my bullet journal, one of the things you can do is keep track of packing lists, wish lists, lists of house projects, basically any list you can think of. I did my Christmas list this year in my bullet journal, and it was so handy to have it right there with me when I was shopping. And everything, because of the index that I previously talked about, it's all organized in one place. The other thing you can put in your journal is journaling and memories. So sometimes you just want to look back at what you accomplished during the month or some of the fun things that just make you smile. You can do this with a monthly memory page, or here on a daily page on the right hand side of your screen, I commemorated the solar eclipse with a fun little doodle just to remember that that was something major that happened in my lifetime that was really cool. And then our focus for this class is going to be on the personal growth category. Because bullet journaling is so customizable, you can use it to support any goal. With previous planners, I was reaching hardly any of my goals. There was no space to track my daily habits, like make my bed, work out, or do even a 10-minute pickup before bed, which is huge in approaching each day with intention and just generally staying on top of things. There are also no pages to break down steps to meet a big goal and no way to track my progress weekly. So other planners just didn't offer this, and I did not feel like they were supporting me to be the person that I wanted to be, who wants to constantly grow and change and improve. And bullet journaling was the tool that changed all that for me. And ever since I picked up my first pen and notebook, I've been absolutely fascinated with the power and possibilities of the system. And that is my hope for you too. So let's zoom out and specifically talk about goals for a minute. Every single goal that you create starts with a desire to work out more, a desire to eat healthier, a desire to declutter your home, a desire to maintain a clean home consistently. But desire alone is not enough. As much as I wish my home would magically clean itself, I have to turn off Netflix and get off the couch and actually physically clean my home to reach my desire of maintaining a clean home consistently. And this whole process from setting goals and getting from that desire to actually achieving the result reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by Henry Ford, where he says, "You can't build a reputation on what you're going to do." In other words, desire is the start of change, but you need that desire to keep you going when you're tempted to quit. Even though we know what to do, we don't necessarily know exactly how to get there, which is why our first step is to turn that desire into a goal. And it's easy to confuse the desires and goals because on the surface, they sound kind of like the same thing. But to create an achievable goal, we actually have to make it SMART. And the SMART method has been around since the 1980s, and it simply means that your goal needs to be specific. So not anything that's super broad. It needs to be measurable, meaning there needs to be a way to track your progress, attainable or achievable. And my fellow overachievers know how difficult the one this is because we like to set a ton of goals that aren't necessarily achievable. Then your goal needs to be relevant. So does this goal line up with your long-term desire and vision for your life? And then lastly, it needs to be time-bound or timely. You have to give your goal a time frame, whether it's every day, like you're doing a habit, it needs to be completed in 2 weeks, in 3 months, etc. Give it a time limit. Let me show you how this works using the clean home example that I mentioned earlier. So if you want to maintain a clean home consistently, we realize that's a desire, that's not a goal. Our goal, and a SMART goal, is going to be cleaning the main areas of my home every 10 days because 10 days is extremely specific. I've also given it that time limit. It's also attainable because I work full time and trying to fit every cleaning task within a week just isn't realistic for me. But we're not done here either. Even though we've specified our goal, we still have to figure out how to accomplish it. I like to compare each individual goal like reaching the top of a mountain. Both Joseph and I grew up in upstate New York, and one of the things we loved to do on the weekends was hiking, especially in the Adirondacks. And whether we were tackling a small mountain or a big one, the end goal or outcome was to make it to that summit, to the top, so that we could celebrate our hard work and take in the gorgeous view as a reward. But you have to get there first, and sometimes reaching a goal can feel like that jumbled mess of rocks that you have to climb over, and you can actually consider turning back. But if you focus on one foot in front of the other, step by step, you are going to eventually get there. And this is super important to remember. It does not matter how fast you go, just as long as you keep going and don't give up. And that brings me to action step number 2. We have to break down our goal into easy, achievable steps so that it's not overwhelming, so it doesn't feel like that jumbled mess of rocks before we get to the top. So let's follow this cleaning example through to the end. We've got our desire, we got our goal, and now we need to break it down into a list of cleaning tasks that need to be completed in that 10-day period. So these would be things like guest bath, master bath, living room carpet, hardwood floors, etc. So now you know what to do, right? But again, knowing is not doing, and most of us stop here and then we fail at the execution phase because Yeah, you've got your SMART goal and you've got your breakdown. What else do you need? Well, I think we need to go a step further and put a system in place to continue making progress towards that goal, because commitment and desire and breaking it down is only going to take you so far, but a system will help you reach the end. And that's action step number 3. So again, with our cleaning example, let me show you what a possible system would look like for this goal. Because maintaining a clean home consistently was one of my 2017 desires, and I failed miserably at this until I made it a SMART goal and broke it down into those achievable action steps and then implemented this system. This is the measurable part of a SMART goal. So first I created a cleaning schedule layout in my bullet journal. Down the left-hand side, there's where I put that breakdown of all the cleaning tasks, and I did this layout for an entire month. But because I only wanted to complete those number of tasks within a 10-day period, I also marked down the 10 sections every 10 days on the layout. Now, looking here, if you're keeping track, you'll notice I didn't vacuum the guest room at all that month, and I completely missed cleaning the master bath in the middle of the month. But having this layout helped me accomplish more cleaning tasks consistently than I ever did before. But the system does not stop there. So whereas my monthly cleaning layout is a way for me to track progress, I could easily forget about it unless I add those cleaning tasks somewhere where I'm going to see and actually do them. So every week when I'm creating my weekly layout or weekly spread in my bullet journal, I add a specific cleaning section to the page and look back at my monthly list to see what I haven't done yet, and then add 3 or 4 tasks to that week to accomplish. So let me show you another practical example so you can see how this entire system works with a different goal from beginning to end. So 2 years ago, in 2016, one of my desires was to have a completely organized craft closet. But I'm not necessarily a crafter, but I am a craft supply hoarder. So it was a really big undertaking, and it wasn't a SMART goal because it was so broad. And honestly, looking at the entire closet with everything from my scrapbooking days and when I suddenly decided to want to knit, it was just so overwhelming to me. So what I did is I just decided to focus on a small part of it. And my gift wrapping supplies were kind of stashed in a corner, and I had, bags and paper and bows spilling all over the place. And so I decided, let's tackle the gift supplies and let's finish this project in a month and create a designated and organized area in the closet for it. So to break that goal down, because there were obviously steps that I needed to do to complete the project, like declutter my gift bags and things like that. So what I did is actually created a project page in my bullet journal where I could break down the tasks that I needed to complete the project, keep some notes, and also create a sketch of what I envisioned the gift wrapping center part of my closet to look like, so that it would kind of help me plan what I needed to do to reach that goal of organizing my gift supplies. Again, I went a step further and added 1 to 2 tasks from that project page over to my weekly layout so that I didn't forget about my goal, and I always knew what is that next step I have to do. It was already on my weekly layout ready for me to do. And before I knew it, that goal of organizing my gift wrapping supplies and creating that little section in my closet helped me, further my desire to have an organized craft closet. And then I could tackle something else like my scrapbooking supplies. Now, sometimes a goal is more of a maintenance type goal and doesn't necessarily need to be broken down. For instance, let's say one of the habits you want to do is make your bed every day, because a made bed just suddenly, it's like, I got that done, the day is now achievable. And it's already a SMART goal because make your bed every day is specific, it's attainable, it's measurable, it's time bound, you know exactly what you do and when you want to do it. And because it's so small, you do not need to break it down into specific tasks, but you still need a system. So for these everyday maintenance type tasks, I like to use a habit tracker, which helps keep track of all my daily goals. You can do this where the habits expand over the course of a month, or you can do a weekly layout like I showed before and keep track of your habits on a smaller scale, whatever makes sense for you. So I hope you're starting to see how this works. You start with a desire, which needs to be turned into a SMART goal, which then needs to be broken down sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. But then you need to create a system to help you execute and actually reach that goal. Now, in the printable workbook that you were able to download before this class, there was an assignment for you to kind of go through the different areas of your life and choose your top 3 goals that you want to focus on next. And if you didn't do that yet, don't worry, it's still a really good exercise to go through so you can decide where you want to focus your efforts. But now I want you to go back to those goals if you created them and be honest with yourself. Is it a SMART goal? If not, rewrite those goals so that they are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Then you're going to want to break down those goals into action steps if needed, and then brainstorm a system that you are going to implement to help you achieve that goal and maintain your progress. So one last thing, well, the excitement of setting new goals is contagious, and you'll probably make a ton of progress within the first couple of weeks just because you're so excited to accomplish it. The reality is there will be days you do not want to do anything to reach that goal. You're not going to feel like it, or you'll hit a roadblock and wonder if it's really worth pursuing. So one of the things I really want to challenge you to think is, what can I do today? What can I do today to reach that goal? What is one little step I can take that will move me further up the mountain so I can get to the top? Because remember, and I said this earlier, it doesn't matter how fast you go. It's about consistency. It's about progress. And that consistent action is what is going to turn your dreams and goals into reality. Most of the class today has focused on goal setting, but I want to kind of bring it back to bullet journaling because remember, this whole system doesn't just help you achieve your goals. You can keep track of your calendar, the lists, ideas that randomly pop into your head, and notes from books and articles you've read, or podcasts you've listened to, or even a class you attended like this one, all in one place. Remember, it's easily organized in that master index. Bullet journaling is essentially the tool that has helped me continually make progress towards a more intentional, organized life. And I love that when something isn't working or my life changes like it often does or my schedule is different, I can then adapt my journal to support me in the way that I need it to. And no other planner in the world that I found has the capability to do that. Now, if you do a quick Pinterest search, you'll find a lot of information about bullet journaling online. But one of the things I was disappointed to find was that there was no one resource that shared everything you need to know step by step in one place. And so over the past 2 years, if I've experimented with my own bullet journal and kind of figuring out how I want things to work for me and things on my own, I've compiled a list of everything you need to know about how to start bullet journaling in one comprehensive guide called BrainBook: Bullet Journaling Your Way to a More Organized Life. Now, BrainBook is geared towards women and men who are serious about getting their life in order, but they are frustrated by the limitations of their current planner, like I was. So if you ever wished you had more space, or you could customize each month, week, and day according to your exact needs, you wish you could keep all your lists in one organized place instead of scattered in your purse or various sticky notes, then you're ready for bullet journaling. And if you're ready for bullet journaling, then you are ready for BrainBook. BrainBook will cover in detail exactly what steps you need to take to set up a personalized bullet journaling planning system that helps you stay on top of your most important responsibilities. You'll learn how to focus on function first, making sure your journal supports everything you need it to without getting distracted by perfectionism or Instagram-worthy photos. There's even a whole section devoted to embracing and covering up your mistakes because, yes, I'm a perfectionist too, so I'm going to teach you how to get past the oops without wanting to tear out your entire page. And if you're curious about the title, BrainBook is actually what I like to call my own bullet journal because it's literally my brain in book form. It holds everything I need to manage and organize my entire life, and I would be totally lost without it. And what the really cool thing is, everyone who has fallen in love with bullet journaling feels the exact same way. There's this huge community of bullet journalists who have just really embraced this form of planning, and we love sharing ideas with each other. So my friend Jackie from schoolofdecorating.com got a hold of BrainBook and immediately started her first journal after reading it. She's always been the type of person that has enjoyed planning ahead and making lists, but was never able to find a planning system or a planner that she was able to stick to for an entire year. Because as a small business owner and mom, things are constantly changing in her life and she needs a planner to support that change. One of the things that she said about BrainBook was it finally brought that creativity and freedom she needed to a planner, and it really is her external brain. So I want to show you one of Jackie's goals that she did with her bullet journal and after reading BrainBook. One of her goals was to complete a Whole30 program, and using BrainBook, she was able to set up her journal and create a layout of her favorite meals for Whole30 and then healthy snacks to eat throughout the month so it didn't derail her progress. But even more than that, she implemented a system. Every week in her weekly layout, she referenced her list of meals and set up a meal plan for the week, and you can see her plan at the bottom of the page. She also went a step further and added a no eating out habit to her monthly habit tracker since it's harder to comply with Whole30 when you're at a restaurant, and she didn't want to be tempted to quit before she had completed the program. But after the program was finished, Jackie had this to say about her goal. I would not have survived Whole30 without my bullet journal. And this is my hope for you too, that you will not just find freedom in bullet journaling when it comes to everyday planning, but also when it comes to planning and organizing your entire life. Because I want you to reach the dreams and goals you're excited about, and I want you to see that positive change in your life and personal growth. But you need a planning system to support you. And so through BrainBook, I'm going to help you set up your first bullet journal and help you take charge of your life and organize your life with the bullet journaling system. Now, there's a lot packed into this digital PDF guide. There's 116 pages. You get setup checklists, beginner tutorials, and also I spend an entire chapter on advanced tips and tricks so that you can take your journal to the next level. In other words, I just don't show you how to set up your journal. I show you how to set up your journal and then maintain it for success going forward. Now, when BrainBook first launched, I offered 3 additional bonuses at no extra cost. And I am so excited to bring back that launch special so you can take advantage of it in case you didn't the first time around. The first bonus you get is Doable Designs, the Creative BrainBook Companion Guide. If bullet journaling pages intimidate you and you feel like you're not creative enough, this guide is going to help you out. It offers a lot of fun doodles that I've done and lettering that you can easily recreate even if you don't know how to do fancy lettering. And there's simple header ideas too that you can add flair to your titles. So I do want to say that fancy pages are not a requirement for bullet journaling, and I talk about this in the book a lot. And to be honest, a lot of my pages are not extremely complicated. There will be weeks where there's no color, no lettering. I'm just keeping it as simple and functional as possible because that is the core of the system. Now, when you want to make a little bit of time for creativity, you can certainly feel free to do that, and this guide is going to show you how. You'll also get access to 11 printable journaling layouts that you can print on sticker paper. So you print these on 8.5 by 11 pack of sticker paper, and they're like on half sheets, so you can kind of cut them and trim to fit inside a bound journal like the ones that I've showed you when I've used example layouts in this class. Or if you want a journal where you can kind of move things around, like a 3-ring binder or disc bound journal, you can print these out on regular paper and then hole punch them to fit inside that notebook. Now, I know one of the key elements and one of the reasons why I was attracted to bullet journaling in the first place was the customizability. I know that it's sometimes difficult to get past your first few blank pages, and so these layouts kind of give you a starting place where you can use them and then you can decide, hey, I think I want to add this, and then you can change it next week. Lastly, you are going to get access to the members only Facebook group where you can ask questions, you can chat with other bullet journaling fans, and then share your own pages that you've created in your BrainBook. Everyone is going to set up their layouts in different ways, and so it's really fun to talk in the group and share photos and gather ideas and then make the pages your own. Mally ran with one of the tips in the book where I showed you how to separate your daily tasks into buckets or time blocks such as morning, afternoon, and evening so it doesn't feel as overwhelming to look at your day. And she kind of took this and ran with it and says it makes it so much easier for her to see what she can get done while her kids are in school, and then shared her version of the layout with us in the group. Now, the entire package of the BrainBook guide and then the Creative Companion Guide, the layouts, and the Facebook group, normally I'm selling this for $27, but I wanted to offer it to you guys for $17, which is the cost of BrainBook alone. And you just need to use the code GOALS2018 in the checkout. Now, this offer does expire on January 16th, so you've got 5 days to do it, But if you want to dive into this starting today and you are excited to take back your time, your life, your schedule, and you're ready to set goals that are going to just help you rock the next few months, then grab your brain book package right now, and you can even get some inspirational reading done before bed tonight and then begin creating your bullet journal as soon as this weekend. Hopefully right now you're seeing the offer pop up near the chat box for you to access your package. Once you click that button there, you'll be directed to the product page where you can click I want this. And then after that, a checkout box is going to pop up next, and you can add the code GOALS 2018 right underneath the email section, and then that's going to immediately drop the price down to $17 for you, and you can complete the progress either credit card, or I believe you can also do it via PayPal. Then you're going to get an email file automatically that will have all the downloads for you, and you will also have the link to join the Facebook group. And as always, I do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you're not happy with BrainBook for any reason, or it wasn't what you expected, or you've decided, bullet journaling is not for me, just email me within the 30 days for a full refund. We don't ask questions. We want you to be happy, and so we will happily refund your money. All right, I think we are now ready for some Q&A.